Hi, I'm Dusti Martin with Martin Properties at Platinum Living Realty, bringing you your monthly market update for the month of September for the City of Phoenix 2020. Now let's just jump right into it. All right, so our active listings are down 48% over this time last year in the City of Phoenix, while our sold listings are only down 1.7. A lot of this has had to do with recovering from the jumbo loan liquidity issues that we had at the beginning of COVID, people coming out of the woodwork after the summer is over. As we all know, the best place to find a Phoenix resident in the hottest part of the Arizona summer is either up north or in San Diego. So not a whole lot of movement this past month in terms of the number of sold listings, but active listings are still down. So that is a huge indicator of what's actually going on the ground. So as we get into it, let's look at our median price per square foot. That's up 12.2% over this time last year. So if you bought a home last year, congratulations. You've made about 12% on your investment per square foot, which is awesome. Our months of supply is down like almost 50%. 47.1% over this time last year. We're at 0.76, meaning less than one, basically 3/4 of a month of supply for the entire City of Phoenix, no matter the property type, no matter the price range. So it is a white hot opportunity for most home sellers in this market. Our median days on market is down 27.5%. We are sitting at 29 days, which is crazy considering the fact that the average transaction takes 30 days to 45 days. A lot of banks are still taking about 45 days to close their loans. We had a little bit of a slowdown and a return to normal after interest rates from the first time this spring when they dropped below 3. There was this huge run on the banks, if you will, for everybody to refinance and try to get that sweet 2.9 interest rate. However, it went back up just slightly to about 3.2, 3.25, or 3.3. And then after a month or two, it dropped again below 3. So we're seeing the same thing, tons of people wanting to refinance their homes. A lot of banks are just backed up, and it's not a big issue, except for the average transaction is taking a smidge longer. So when you look at that, and our median days on market, meaning from start to finish, is only 29. That means there's a lot of cash out there coming in from out of state, out of town, people who have just been sitting on things and waiting. There's a lot of things. A lot of buyers have their ducks in a row right now. They have gone and found lenders that can close deals quickly because they know that that is important to getting their offer accepted by you, the seller. So keep that in mind. That number is absurdly fast for an overall generalized number. It is crazy fast. Okay, so let's get into the supply and demand, months of supply by price point here in the City of Phoenix. Now, depending if you're buying or selling and in what price range, this is going to determine either how aggressive you need to be making your offers if you're trying to buy a home, depending on the price point, because not everybody is in a seller's market. On the flip side, depending on if you are selling, not all homes in Phoenix are in a seller's market. So you really got to do your homework and know, are you in a balanced market? Are you in a stable market? Or are you in a seller's market? So like I said, for the City of Phoenix, overall, we're at 3/4 of a month of supply. So crazy white hot. In the $0 to $100,000 price range, you're at 1.5 months of supply. Crazy white lightning hot. If you're a buyer, you got to be super aggressive. You got to sweeten the pot to get the seller to pay attention to you, maybe even offer to pay some of their closing fees. But then on top of that, if you're a seller, that's when you can really push maybe 2, 3, 4% above what you might have been able to get away with a couple months ago or a year ago. So keep that in mind. The $200,000 to $300,000 price range, we're at a 0.47 month supply. So less than a half a month, 2 weeks. If everything sold in that price range, we'd just be gone. Oh, I skipped 100 to 200. 100 to 200, you're at 0.53. So about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks of supply. That is crazy white hot. You can totally push that number. Don't go crazy with it because overall, 25% of the homes are still not selling. And in most of those cases, they're either marketed improperly or priced improperly. And I'm finding more often than not when I look at these, they are just a lot of it's both, but a lot of times it's also the price. So just because it's a seller's market doesn't mean that buyers are going to roll over and pay 5 or 10% more without some sort of justification. Now let's get to the 300 to 500,000. We're at 0.7 months of supply, so just under 3 weeks. Still the same issue. And then the 500 to 700,000, you're at 0.89, same issue. When you get the 700 to a million, that's when you start to see maybe not as much crazy, but it's still pretty strong. You're at 1.86 months of supply. Keep in mind, 4 months or less is a seller's market. The closer you get to 0, the crazier it gets, right? The closer you get to 4, over 4, balanced to stable market, right? So when we get to the $1 to $3 million price range, there's been a leveling out and an evening and a stabilization in the market, which I've told several people about over the last couple months. We probably aren't going to see a dip because of the COVID thing, but we did see a stabilization in the high end. And this data supports that. So we are at a 5.69 months of supply in the $1 to $3 million price range in the city of Scottsdale, which is still not bad. It's closer to 4 months than it is to 8. So it's a stable market, but it's slightly tipped in the seller's favor. And then when we get to the $3 million price range, this is the crazy part. The $3 million price range this time last year had a 7-month supply in the city of Phoenix, which was already kind of crazy for those numbers for that price range. That price range is almost always a buyer's market simply because there is almost always less buyers in that price range than there are homes. And so just, it's the nature of the beast. Last year, I thought it was significant when we were at a 7-month supply. This year, we're at a 5.5-month supply. So we're almost, for the super high end, over 3 million. We are creeping towards the seller's market, which is great news. So if you have one of those high-end homes, now might be one of the best times in history to sell it, not only for top dollar, but to be able to do it quickly. It's not uncommon to look around the country and see 12, 24, 48, 36, or 54 months of supply in high-end super luxury markets around the country. So keep that in mind. The fact that we're only at a 5.5-month supply, that is an even stable market. And I would take that money and I would run. If you guys have any questions or would like to know the specific details of what's going on in your zip code, or more importantly, your neighborhood for your specific home, because real estate is local, give me a call at 480-717-9405 or visit my website at dustimartinrealtor.com. Oh, and don't forget, hit the like button, share this with a friend.